Go to the full narrated chapter of One Piece 1115 after the intro. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and before we get into the content of this video, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Page 1, One Piece Chapter 1115, Continent Pieces. Cover story. On the cover, we see Hiyori preparing some food for Otoko. Oni Child Yamato's substitute pilgrimage of the Golden Harvest Volume 5. I'm receiving bento sets from Hiyori and Otoko. Note, seeing Otoko having plenty to eat warms the heart, doesn't it? Page 2. Beginning note, the shockwave is felt in this country too. Intro box. The chapter starts by showing Wano country and their reaction to Vegapunk's broadcast. Momonosuke says, "It's unbelievable that we can receive transmissions from the outside world." Kinemon then says it seems Orochi had it installed in the castle. Momonosuke says, "So Joy Boy was a pirate? Just like Luffy. You know about him, my lord?" Intro box, Marine Base, Prison Branch, G4. Then we see Kid's Pirates, Tomorrow Black's Pirates, the former fake Straw Hats, now cosplaying as another pirate crew, Kids. Fake Killer, formerly fake Sanji, says, "Joy Boy, is he stronger than our captain? What do you think, Captain Kid?" Fake Kid, formerly fake Luffy, says, "You're asking me that? But he's already dead, isn't he?" Former fake Zoro says, "That's our Captain Kid. How magnanimous." Fake Kid says, "Joy Ball is obviously weaker than me." Crew members say, "Yeah, Sir Joy Boy." Page 3, then Vegapunk's message continues. Vegapunk says, "I only read a few poneglyphs, but from what I learned, it recorded an incredible battle on a huge scale. Joy Boy's enemy is the current world government. We see some Marines." A Marine says, "Does that mean we?" Another Marine says, "Well, it makes sense since he was a pirate." We see Egghead in the distance as we return to the island. Page 4. We see Warcury, Dory, Broggy, and Luffy. A very angry Warcury says, "Vegapunk." Vegapunk continues, "Well, to be exact, it is the former form of the world government before it was established. It was the temporary cooperation of 20 kings that formed an allied army. You could say that Joy Boy was so strong that they had to do this. And while we don't know the cause of the war, we can't say who is right and who is wrong. Let's say it was a clash of two ideologies. I mentioned this recently, but we don't know much about the kingdom where Joy Boy was born 900 years ago. Then we see San Marcus Mars. He walks and we see the Conqueror's haki emanating from him and Den Den Mushi fainting. While Vegapunk talks, we see a silhouette of Joy Boy and what seem to be the kings. We see Zunesha. Page 5, intro box, New World, Zo. Vegapunk says in the transmission, "I discovered it was a surprising country with an advanced civilization. The weapons that existed during the war in that century were products that cannot be replicated even with our current scientific knowledge." We see the Minx here. Carrot, already in a new ruler outfit of Zo, says, "Incredible." Then it changes again. We see Foxy on a small boat. He says, "Hey, hey, hey, Fefifi, what the hell is he saying? That annoying bastard." Porsche says, "Oh, boss." They forget that. We're hungry. Vegapunk continues, "And even with my genius brains, now he's just being an arrogant bastard." Hamburg, poo 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 poo. Labo phase, knock knock. Click page 6. Edison says, "Stussy." Stussy says, "Huh?" Edison says, "It's me." Stussy responds, "Edison?" Edison continues, "Release the barrier and escape." Stussy says, "What? I can't. If something happens to the Straw Hat crew before they set sail." Edison's, "Honestly, the barrier is useless now. Not with those guys who can easily pass through the barrier. I have exhausted all means to allow the Straw Hat crew to escape. Knowing them, they can handle the rest." While Edison says this, we see Jinbei and Zoro, with Jinbei talking to Nami. Nami says, "Quickly. Enemy ships are starting to gather here on the northeast coast. Even if we land in the sea, it won't do us any good if we become targets of a full-on attack." Stussy says, "I'm glad. If I can't help them escape, Stella will hate me." "That's not true. Get out of there now." "But I'm in trouble here." Stussy's, "Now that Stella is gone, I don't know who I should dedicate my life to." As she says this, we see a look from Kaku. Page 8, the scene changes and we go to Bonnie's group. She is kicking Nusjuro. Oimo and Sanji are falling to the ground at this moment. Bonnie says, "Don't let him use his sword. This old man can cut anything." Detecting life presence. Burrow says Bonnie as he unsheathes his sword. "Watch out, Bonnie." As he cuts, Frankie pulls Bonnie away, escaping the slash, but it cuts the bow of the Elbaf ship. Bonnie, "Cha!" Bonnie reverts to her 10-year-old form. Frankie says, "Huh?" Bonnie says, "I can't maintain my future form." Huff, huff. Vegapunk continues in the transmission. The Void Century ended with Joy Boy's defeat. As Vegapunk says this, we see Zunesha and the giant robot. V. Nusturo says very nervously, "How long do you intend to keep talking, Vegapunk?" Nujiro jumps into the sky. Oimo, "Hey, old man, where are you going?" Pages 10-11. "These life presences are getting annoying." Nujiro cuts the cloud of the labor phase in half, just like Law cut the laboratory plus mountain in Punk Hazard. Vegapunk says, "With his death, enormous and irreversible scars of the war left their mark." CP agents. Huh! Wah! The CP agents and Seraphim, still in their bubbles, fall. Pages 12-13. Vegapunk says, "Everyone travels across this world from island to island. The journey is dangerous, and many people live their lives knowing only their own culture." We see another city. A citizen says, "He's just saying what we already know." Another citizen says, "Ha! He's just saying the sea is dangerous." Vegapunk continues, "The norm we have now didn't exist in the world 1,000 years ago, due to the cataclysm that occurred within the Void Century. The world once sank under the sea. Now we are living on the continental pieces of the past." Then we see the Revolutionary Army who are surprised and say, "What?" Vegapunk continues, "The world 1,000 years ago now is a shadow of its former self that sank to the bottom of the sea." We see a solo panel of Sabo, very attentive to Vegapunk's words. Page 14, Vegapunk continues, "We have no way of knowing how the world was in the distant past. We can only conclude that many continents existed." Citizens in Kokoyashi Village, "This is an unbelievable story." Mr. Gen says, "Hey, where are you going, Nojiko?" "The world might be in crisis." Nojiko responds, "Tell me the rest later. I'm going to check the tangerine fields." Gen says, Nojiko. Vegapunk continues, "If the world remained unchanged since the past, it would be impossible to erase 100 years of history from the world's memory. But somehow, this makes sense. The amount of sea level rise in just 100 years is actually 200 meters. We see some shocked Marines. What? 200 meters? Page 15, a Marine says, "This giant warship alone is 60 meters tall. At that depth, the world will disappear." Another Marine says, "Hey, while everyone is absorbed in listening, the Cypherpol agents and Seraphim have all fallen. Let's go out and rescue them." Presentation box, Mocktown. Citizen, "Hey, did you hear all that? He's still continuing his lies. That old man is hilarious. No way that happened." Sakura Kingdom, Chopper's homeland. We see Dalton who says, "Could something like this really be possible?" Kureha says, "Hee!" The world keeps getting more interesting. Citizens outside the New Spiders Cafe, "That mountain is about 200 meters tall. The sea levels rose to that height? That's hell! How many people died?" Page 16. Vegapunk continues, "Why do you ask if this sea level rise happened? Of course, it's natural to think it was caused by an unexpected natural disaster, but I can affirm that it was a man-made disaster." We see a surprised Morgans who says that's impossible. Vegapunk continues, "Climatology, geology, environmental science, atmospheric science, even if you calculate all these aspects, it's not a phenomenon that could occur in just mere 100 years. Therefore, the cause is different. When I noticed the global sea level rise in past data, I am now convinced." Page 17, we see Marcus Mars, San Saturn, and Warcurie, furious. Then we see Marie Geoy. Vegapunk says, "The cause and the existence of the ancient weapons that were used to sink this world 800 years ago really exist in the present. They have been waiting for the moment to activate them again. This means the giant war that happened during the Void Century is not over yet." As he says this, we see Imusama in his garden, some butterflies flying, and the chapter ends showing a closer silhouette of Imusama's face and Vegapunk's words. Final note, the genius exposes the history. End of chapter 11115, no break next week. That's That's it, folks. This was the full and narrated chapter of One Piece 1115. What did you think? Leave your comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. See you next time, and thanks.